Coming up next on the Forbes.com video network, a man who kayaks down 100-foot waterfalls. More when we return. Welcome back to Adventure. I'm your host, Jim Clash. Extremist Tao Berman has never gone over Niagara Falls in a barrel, but he has done more dangerous things in a kayak. A few years ago, he descended Canada's Upper Johnson Canyon Falls, a world record 98.4 vertical feet, and lived to tell about it. Tao, thank you so much for coming on. You know, it's been a long time since we met at a book signing. I wanted to have you on. You're the man when it comes to kayaking. I mean, I've seen you in Sports Illustrated, I've seen you in Rolling Stone, I've seen you in Men's Journal. Tell us about your sport, extreme kayaking.
In my opinion, it's the best sport in the world. You know, I get to go out and take these huge risks, but know that I'm not really endangering anybody but myself. For me, I just love getting to the top of a waterfall, like as an example, the 98-foot world record, and knowing that I have to perform at my best, otherwise there's serious consequences. That's what I love about the sport. Yeah,
tell us about that. That was in Upper Johnson Falls in Canada, and it's a drop of almost 100 vertical feet. It's a world record, correct?
Yeah, that's right. It's a world record. I said it back in '99. I've been looking for something bigger that I think I could relatively safely do since then, and I still haven't found it.
What are you thinking as you're going off that waterfall?
You know, usually I close my eyes and just, I hope. No, I'm kidding. No, you know, it's for me, it's really, it's just about training. You know, I spent so many years training that in theory, I don't have to think about what I have to do. It's actually a trained reaction. I'm on that waterfall, I was falling at 55 miles an hour for 2.4 seconds.
Wow.
So at the time that I think, oh, I need to put in a left brace stroke or I'm going to flip over, it's too late. I'm already 30 feet past that point.
Right.
So it really is a trained reaction based on all the other waterfalls that I've kayaked on.
And when you hit at the bottom, is there a violent kind of jolt, or is it?
Yeah.
I mean, what's that like?
That's a really good question. You know, I hit with so much impact that I snapped my paddle on impact. To give you an idea of how much pressure that takes, my paddle's tested to withstand about 840 pounds of pressure.
Right.
And it still snapped on impact. So when I rolled up, I had half a paddle in one hand and a world record in the other.
Amazing. Now, I know they do this sort of thing in the Olympics. They have kayaking. And do you have any interest in that, or can you compare and contrast your sport?
I would love to compete in the Olympics, but not for kayaking. The discipline of kayaking that is in the Olympics, it just doesn't interest me. It's slalom kayaking where you're going through gates, and this may sound a bit contrived, but I'm more interested in the aspect of the sport that has a bit more danger involved.
Mm-hmm.
I think that that's great for conditioning, but from a competition perspective, it just doesn't interest me.
Yeah, so you don't have that factor that you might die in the Olympics, but what you're doing, you could die.
That's one way to look at it. It's certainly possible that I or any kayaker could die. I really look at kayaking not from an adrenaline junkie standpoint, but really from a calculated risk management perspective. Can I do it or can't I do it? I look at the risks. Wherever there are risks, I have my safety team set up so that I'm as safe as possible. Knock on wood. I've been doing this for going on 14 years. I'm 27 now.
Wow,
I've
since
never,
you were 13 years old?
14, right when I turned
wow.
14. I've never had a serious injury. So it looks completely crazy, but there's actually a whole lot of calculation that goes into the equation.
Well, speaking of that, I mean, what is next for you?
The next thing on my plate that I would really like to accomplish next year is actually setting the the distance world record in one day. There was a guy in Alaska that, or the Yucatan, that went 246 miles in 24 hours. Well, I don't want to have 24 hours of light. I want to just have from about 5 a.m. to 9.
Right.
And I don't want it to be easy. I want it to be real difficult. So I'm going to go to a section of whitewater at peak runoff where there's these huge volume Class 5 rapids, put it in my kayak as soon as first light hits, and paddle for all day until dark, and hopefully go over 250 miles, but like 10, 12 hours in, as it's coming up towards dusk, I'm going to be going into these huge volume Class 5 rapids, never having gotten out of my kayak, been paddling as hard as I can.
You're going to be tired.
I'm going to be exhausted. And that's the next thing that I'm planning on doing that I'm pretty excited about.
Do you know where it's going to be?
I do, but as of now, we're keeping the location under wraps.
Is it North America?
It is,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah, and it's obviously not up towards Alaska because I don't want the luxury of having a true 24 hours of daylight.
Sure, sure. Tao, thank you very much for coming in. Good luck with your future endeavors.
Hey, thanks so much.
Again, extreme kayaker Tao Berman. I'm Forbes adventurer Jim Clash. To check out my column, pick up Forbes magazine or click on Forbes.com/adventurer. And thanks for watching the Forbes.com Video Network.